Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe, and you're checking out Weekend at Gabe's, and thanks for checking out this latest episode. While you're here, also follow us on these social medias at Weekend Gabe, at Weekend at Gabe's, and also at The Real Sam Crane. Thanks for checking us out. You're checking out Weekend at Gabe's with Weekend Gabe and The Real Sam Crane. Don't forget to give us a follow on these social medias at Weekend Gabe, at Weekend at Gabe's, and also at The Real Sam Crane. Joining us now, one of my favorite friends in the entire Chicago music industry, who also feeds us enormous and great guests. I'm talking about DJ RTC, also known as Alex Fruchter. Did I say that right?
I don't think it was exactly right, but it was the best, not fully correct way you could have said it.
I remember when you interviewed LL Cool J and he said it, and I was like, always trying to mimic LL Cool J in the way he says it. But I think it's like more of an emphasis on the or.
Yeah, someone had to correct LL Cool J, and it just had to be me. So, that was a highlight of LL Cool J saying my name proper. That was cool. But no, you did a great job. Thank you.
Sounds good, man. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
We're good, man. I don't know if you had a chance to catch the tail end of our conversation with Jerry Barrow, who has the Father Who Bothers podcast. We were talking a little bit to him about his show and how it just talks about, I guess, and being a father. You yourself, you're in the first year of fatherhood, with this Father's Day coming up, which is, I think, your second Father's Day, right?
This would be my first
This is your first,
yeah.
Cool. So how does that feel? Because I remember the first one that I had with my kids, it was kind of like it was like kind of like surreal. Like you had joined like a group. Like, you know, it wasn't so much you had to go shop for people. It was weird to receive gifts from people for just like, you know, being a responsible adult.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's how I feel, man. I mean, I think it's cool though to be part. I think it is part of like joining a group. And now my brother, I have an older brother. He's had kid. He has a 12 going on 13-year-old. So he's had Father's Day for a while. Yeah. Obviously my own dad, and I'm excited to be part of that as well now. So yeah, I think you summed it up right. It is like a club, and this day I'd kind of see my dad or talk to my dad, and then it'd be its own thing. But yeah, it's different. I guess it could be different now. I think maybe you could tell me better. It's probably like hits more when your kid can talk and kind of like understand a bit. I don't know.
You're a couple years out from the macaroni necklace. We talked about that in the last segment.
I don't know what that is, but I'm down for it. If some kind of macaroni necklace giving, I'm down.
Like all the little things that they make at school for Fathers and Mother's Day. So yeah. Like all the little things that the kids bring home because they make
the summer camp. I got to get this dude in a JCC pretty soon. Get him doing some summer camp Father's Day stuff. Or no, CPS would still be in session, I guess.
They're in for another week. Usually I don't think they usually go this long, but I think because of the way the school year panned out, I think they're staying in a little bit longer than usual. Which I was making my point at the beginning of the show is that usually I don't ever get anything from school because the year's done. So I don't get any of those like macaroni necklaces or the some sort of plate or cup or something with my name on it. I don't think I have many of those at all.
Have you ever gotten a tie? I think that's like the cliche gift, right? Have you ever gotten a tie, Gabe?
I've received a tie. I received a mug. We went through our top 10. We went through our top 5 list, which we can revisit really quickly.
Yeah, I know you don't have many. I mean, this is your first one coming up, but can you imagine like what the worst gift could be like for you specifically? Like,
yeah, I think the worst. Well, I don't think it will ever happen though, because I'm so adamant about it. But the two worst things, if my wife said, "All right, I made some hot dogs and they all had ketchup on them," that'd be probably the worst. And then second would be like number 1 dad, but it was a Cubs jersey with a number 1 and dad on it. Those are the 2 worst things that just come to mind right away. I could see them being at the same time.
The same day, the same tailgate almost.
Yeah.
that would sting. That'd be like, what am I gonna do with this? Like, you can't throw it away though because they gave it to you. So it's like I don't know.
Yeah.
We said we did say ties. We said useless gadgets.
Okay.
Cologne. If you don't wear cologne to begin with, don't buy me cologne because that's only going to cause problems in your relationship. Because why are you wearing cologne now? So that's going to raise some questions with your spouse or a significant other. I don't like slippers. Don't buy me slippers.
Oh, my wife bought me some slippers just in general. I love them. I've never been part of a slipper.
Yeah, I'm also not with Gabe on that either. I think I'd be team slippers.
I never was, man, but I'm changing. I'm evolving. And slippers are a bit safer than socks. Once you have an accident, you'll understand.
I'm team barefoot. That's what I'm team. So
I broke a couple toes. So I'm not that.
We also said no more DVD Blu-rays. Why? And then also gift cards to places that we don't shop at. Like, don't.
I'm hoping for a Mitchell and Ness Sandy Koufax throwback jersey. So,
good luck with that. Yeah,
that's a Sunday dad vent gift if I've ever heard.
That's the zoo and the lion together.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Good luck with that. But anyways, well, happy Father's Day to you, Alex, and to you and your family. I know you guys are traveling, so we appreciate you taking the time to join us. You've had a very busy year with Closed Sessions. We talked with Mother Nature and Boathouse. They have a phenomenal album out right now. Kip Stone also has a phenomenal record out. What else do you guys got cooking up over there in your lab?
No, I saw both those, and I want to say too, the Mother Nature interview was really good. I mean, they're both good, but that was one of the better ones. Just I think of their press run that let them tell the story of their project, and also got Boathouse involved. I think people maybe don't realize he produced the whole thing. Not an easy task to have a producer MC. That whole style or subgenre is not an easy thing to do. So props to you guys. But yeah, no, we also have, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Jack Larson. He's not a hip hop artist. He makes more, I don't know, psychedelic, or he was doing psychedelic pop. Now it's more straightforward, but he has a video coming out in a little bit that is really dope. And it channels kind of Beastie Boy. He's kind of Beastie Boy-esque inspired. So I'm excited for that. Kip Stone has a video too for Get Myself Together off Fago Baby, which is one of my favorite songs. And then I'm really excited. We're about to launch. We have so many old songs that feature artists from the blog era that went on to do pretty big things. And a lot of these songs only lived, at the time we put them out, they were just on Mediafire or Zshare or direct download.
Right. Shout out all the websites, man. Shout out all the websites.
You had to be there.
All the broken links out there.
Or just embedded directly in in Ruby Hornet, and none of them work. So we went back through that and saw all the songs, and we're launching them as a 45 series that are going to drop in groups of 3.
Wow.
So the first one is in the test. Hopefully, will be by the end of the year. COVID really delayed a lot of vinyl pressing, but we have test pressings, and we're going to be dropping 45s for Rapper Weed with Currency.
Nice.
What else is that? First drop is a song we did with Conway, the Machine, called Andre Drummond from Rude One's album, and then this song with Blue and DJ Babu called Comfy in the Truck. That was from 2010, I think. So yeah, so they look like they're designed like comic books and are numbered. It's meant to be like, if you want it, they're meant to be collector's pieces, but also just really cool songs that.
Are you branching into the NFT space with Closed Sessions anytime soon? You get these digital arts things going.
We thought about it, and we're thinking had something in the works, but the artists we were working that had the idea to at first do it. We did more research, and it takes a toll on the environment. It's like if you could get really deep into the whole NFT thing. So that was the one part. We didn't really want to do that, but I'm still trying to, I don't know about you, I'm still trying to wrap my head around part of the whole thing, because it's kind of like I'm really big into collecting baseball and basketball cards. And so now there's a big thing about NBA Top Shot.
NBA Top Shot, I was going to say, yeah.
And Panini is launching
Yep,
a
that's
digital thing, but it's like, I don't know. The point was kind of like to have the card.
right.
So I don't know. I'm a little. We could talk about that all day, but I don't know. I'm still a little unclear how this NFT thing really works.
I think we're all right there. I think that's a good. If you're curious at all, that's the right place to be.
There you go. Sam Crane said it. So
I'm the crypto nerd of the show. I get into this, so we really could talk all day. But what I really want to know is how do you go about starting a label, man? Because you guys do all kinds of cool stuff. Walk me back in time to the origin of Closed Sessions, and how did that baby get born?
yeah, for sure. I'll give you the super brief cliff notes, but I had a friend I grew up with named Jabari Evans is his name, but he was in a group called Kids in the Hall. He was the rapper. I don't know, Gabe, you probably know Kids in the Hall. You were around, you were around Knowledge. So anyway, when he signed, they were on Raucous Records, and then Duck Downs, and had kind of hit with Driving Down the Block was their MTV TRL thing, and he moved back to Chicago around the time I was starting Ruby Hornet. I had a different site before that called Sound Slam, and we connected, and he would sometimes DJ for him, or they put me down, and like we'd go backstage and film everything. And I was at Rock the Bells Festival, and in the green room with him, and then this other weird dude showed up, and it ended up being Mike from Soundscape, and Knowledge was having all of his he was recording there, and he was mixing everything at Soundscape, and I started going around there a lot, and I was also making mixtapes at this time, and I brought a mixtape, I think it was with GLC. I brought a mixtape to Mike to master for me to make sure all the songs sound the same. And at the end, he was like, you could pay me, but I see you doing cool things. I see you have this website. So if you need a studio, just come and you can use the studio, but just bring the cool shit to my studio. And that's what I did. And I don't know if he knew I would take full advantage, but I started bringing shit there all the time. We were doing all kind of exclusive content, and I really wanted to be like Tony Touch or DJ Drama. Right. Now DJ Khaled would be the biggest example. But these DJs that had their own albums, and I had my party at a really packed residency at the time at Lava Lounge. And I just saw all these really great artists that had music on blogs, but at the time, Currency could not have played a Metro or a Double Door. This is 2000. You got to go back to 2008, 2009. Yeah. And same for a lot of these dudes. So I just said, man, come to Chicago, play my party. It's going to be full. It's going to be the people that you want, like the leaders guys are there, and we'll take you to all the streetwear stores and kind of give you a foundation. And then let's go to the studio and make some music. And that's how it started. And we did the first one with Currency. And he's the one who said, like, I don't want any, like, yo, you, we're good. Let's turn off the lights. I don't want anyone else in here. And I think the name we did that song, it was Rapper We put out the documentary. We just got really good at it. And we made a company just because I don't think we ever thought we'll make a label. It was just we liked doing that. And we called it Closed Sessions, I think subconsciously. Well, we called it Closed Sessions because Currency closed in the studio, but I think subconsciously too, there's a Dilated Peoples song called Closed Sessions.
Shout out Dilated Peoples, man.
I think that was partly in my brain. And we just started building from there. And like Currency told some artists and then another artist. And then pretty soon in this time, like we had like Emilio Rojas, and then he told Skyzoo, and then Skyzoo wanted to come, and then it just became a thing. And we did these compilations, and like Volume 1 and Volume 2, we had Bronson and Freddie Gibbs, and it was like, I think at that time the blogs were their own community, so it was a fun thing where like artists were like, okay, when I get on, I can come to Chicago and I connect with the Ruby Hornet Closed Sessions dudes and do Beauty Bar, and then we'll make a documentary, make a song. Like MTV2 aired our documentaries. And then the last piece of the puzzle though was this guy Greg Mateo, who worked at a company called Ingrooves, which is a distribution service, and he hit me up out of the blue one day and was like, I love the Chicago hip hop scene. And every time I look up an artist, like it traces back to Ruby Hornet and Closed Sessions somehow. And I see you putting these songs out on Zshare or SoundCloud. Like, have you ever thought about having a record label? And I was like, I had not thought about that. We thought we just thought we would make documentaries and songs and like sell that. But you can only do that so many times. So in 2000, I think 13 or 14, Ingers gave us this distribution deal, a little bit of an advance, and we used it to put out some projects, sign some artists, and that was, the rest is history, I guess. I hope that answered. That was a long way to answer your question, but that was
great. That was a great story. And shout out Currency, man, and shout out Dilated Peoples.
I love Dilated Peoples. I've actually been able to since I discovered their music. We worked with all those guys, so it's really dope. And DJ Babu has produced. At one point, he produced 50% of our songs.
Wow.
We have a lot of Babu. We have a lot of Babu.
The world-class beat junkies. I'm waiting to see. I don't know if we're too far removed from the blog era documentary, but I am interested to see how this time and space, because we look at the streaming era and then also the Napster era and then the blog era. And I'm curious to see how this is going to be framed and who's going to tell that story. Did you feel like you need to be part of that, whoever decides to pick up that mantle?
I mean, it's definitely something on my mind. I think someone's going to tell that story. I'd like to be part of, at least in the Chicago sense, part of the people that tell it. I think like if I'm not involved, it could be easy to leave us out, but that's just you can't necessarily always control that, but I'd like to be part of it. I think if you take Ruby Hornet out, just pretend that never existed, I think there's going to be a huge hole in the Chicago scene. Ruby Hornet, Fake Shore Drive, like that's a big chunk, and if you don't tell that story, and then the Chicago blog scene, I think influenced a lot of the rest of the country. So.
I mean, Lyrical Lemonade came up off that era too. So
Lyrical Lemonade, I think is like you have Ruby Hornet or Fake Shore Drive, like the Kurt Flood of the blog eras, and then the Lyrical Lemonade is all the people that enjoyed the free agency.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't know Kurt Flood, but my analogy. Went way off. But no, they think they took everything and like to a new height for sure.
They really learned from it.
Ill Roots filled a gap between those.
I still trap off Ill Roots to this day. That is how I find new music. That is how I've always found new music. And they low-key shut down the website. I think they're mostly on Twitter now. They're just a Twitter account.
Yeah, a lot of them. It's unfortunate. The really unfortunate thing is going to come when, and I'm starting to see writers I follow talk about their stories are gone, because you're going to see all these blogs. Like, eventually, someone's going to stop paying the server bills, and that's why I bought Ruby Hornet back, even though I had left. I think I got a Facebook memory of my first interview with Chance, which was his first interview. And it led to like a link not found, and I was like, no, like we can't have that. So I don't have time to update the site, but I want to turn it just into a museum and just pay the server bill, because there's so much history on just one website. So many song premieres, for artists' first blog post, first interview, that I like, if not right, just turned off. Like which it might. I haven't checked it in a minute, but. That's going to be a problem. We're going to lose so much music history when these blogs one by one kind of just turn off.
You see some artists circling back too and repackaging those songs. I mean, Nicki Minaj being the most recent doer of that thing. But me and Gabe were actually just talking about the same thing happening to old magazine stories from sort of The Source and XXL. And it's almost, not to tie this back to NFTs again, but it is sort of, I think where your hesitation there comes from, because it's like, if you can't touch it, then you really do have to pay the server bills for it to keep the lights on, otherwise it's gone,
Right.
If you lose your little USB drive, you're up shit's creek without a paddle.
Yeah, definitely. I've been saving, trying to like as many articles as I can find that I wrote, saving as PDFs, because they're going to be gone. And
Listen, this is what you need to do. First off, I'll tell you, because this is what Dart Adams did. He took all his stuff, put it into a book, and then self-publish it on Amazon.
Yeah,
or do it through a series.
I actually am writing a book. I have the title, everything, and the.
Is that an exclusive? Do you want to drop the exclusive?
I'm about to say, are we breaking news tonight?
Are we breaking this?
I don't think I can say the title yet. Okay. I can't say the title because But I'll send Gabe some excerpts. If it gets the Gabe approval, I could tweet. I gotta let you tweet the title out.
Listen, we'll definitely need to preview it so we can get like the quote on the cover. Because
yeah, it will be the quotes at the back, like, "Oh man, such an amazing read, Weekend Gabe."
Okay, I'll send you. The only person who's read any of it so far is my wife, and she said it was pretty good. So I'll send you some. Oh, and some other people have just seen clips of it. But yeah, I'll send you a little.
Man, I'd love to
you
read
tell
it.
me if I should stop right now before I waste too much time, or I continue going.
Listen, during the pandemic, I've been trying to get my hands on any and all hip hop memoirs, any research documents, which led me to befriending Dart Adams, who also has pointed me in the direction of some wonderful reads. So I'm all for the stories, because there's tons of stuff that we don't know about, and I'm pretty sure things that aren't in the public. But just to circle back to kind of you saving Ruby Hornet or bringing it back. It's important because all like I said, like all those links, the Z-Share links, the MediaFire links, all those stuff's broken, and that and it's, I don't think the story has been told or isn't told yet of the history of songs that are just lost because they're not on streaming platforms, they're not physically distributed. People don't have. I mean, maybe they still do.
In some cases, they'll never clear the sample. There's nothing you could do. They will just never clear it.
I mean, because all we had was those links and DatPiff. It's like those were the go-to places to get anything that was on the internet, and all that stuff is starting to dry up. And it's sad that there's going to be like this decade of music that people are going to talk about it like it happened 100 years ago because there's no reference to it. Like
100%. I mean, there's a lot of songs. I mean, I think you're exactly right. There's not going to be a record. There are going to be these various links, and like just think about the rapid. I mean, songs come out crazy rapid pace now, but they were. I don't know. I think like what I liked about the blog era was there was at least some level of curation and some level of regionality. Now everything's just kind of thrown up in the same Spotify. So you have huge artists if you're a new artist, you're now in the same pool as the biggest new artists and everyday too. It's not just like blog era rappers adding songs that have never been on Spotify before. It's like Bob Dylan is doing this. It's not just. So I do think that something's lost, and I think you're gonna lose a lot of like local flavor music from these different pockets that were on these different regional blogs and sites from artists that there are so many artists just in Chicago that I think about that were making music when I was blogging, really in it in my 20s, that don't make music anymore, and it's just a blip, and they were never famous, and maybe no one cared, but for Chicago hip hop, like they had some good bangers, and I could think it's just some off the top of my head. Like I'm about to go see if they are on Spotify. I don't know. Did you know that song "West Side Get the Money" by Dally Austin? I don't know why I just thought of that, but like that's a great song. Is that on any streaming service? Is it on any streaming service? I have no idea, and I don't know. Like probably in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. But that was a great song. Like I really liked that record. I would play it.
There's a ton of those moments. And what do you think as far as like the impact that the Chicago scene, because obviously we know the heights that it reached with the drill sound, but like a lot of other artists like the Chances, the Dirks, the Lupes, I think he kind of came in before the blog era, but still kind of like
still profited a lot off of the blog era.
Sure. he was very much involved with that. Like, what would you say like the impact of the Chicago media scene and the bloggers? How much value is in the work that they put? Would you say that they had during that 10 years?
Well, I mean, so I think the biggest thing that I think that like we were doing as the Chicago blogs, and I mean, there were a lot of them, but I'll just thinking of what we were doing with Ruby Hornet and seeing Fake Shorts. Like when I was a kid, Gabe, you're from Chicago. When I was growing up in Hyde Park, the thought was in order to be big, you have to leave Chicago. So that was one part of it. And then there was also a lot of like, and I'm just speaking for the hip hop scene, the hip hop, like if you're from Hyde Park, you're like, this is the real Chicago hip hop scene. But then someone from the north side is like, no, this is the real hip hop scene. And there was a lot of like fighting over a small amount of spots, and also you didn't really know what everyone was doing. But I think the blogs let everybody see how people were working, what was happening. And then with Ruby Hornet, we brought in those parties and events where literally it was my whole thing with those parties was if you like Ruby Hornet, the music being posted, you can come to this party and not just hear those songs, me playing them, but those artists are going to be in the bar. So you had people meeting each other, talking to each other. So I think that was the biggest thing. It kind of like let people meet more of each other, see what's going on, and opened up more spots and more exposure and helped stop that flood. And you can see now the younger generation of Chicago artists, some that you named, Chance, Vic Mensa, Mick Jenkins, Saba, they still live here for the most part. And if you look back, and this is something too, to your other point about what's lost, but so many of those collaborations between artists of different generations were happening during that blog era, literally because of the blogs and seeing each other's work. So I think that's like a lasting piece. You don't really hear Chicago be referred to as the city of haters anymore, like it was when I was, when we were younger. And
Chicago hates you, yeah.
Chicago hates you. That's not a thing anymore. I'm writing a story right now on like Juice and like when he was beefing with Rhyme Fest and that whole thing. And I think that was that era. And now I don't think generations after that worked more with each other, where previously and when I was coming up and to earn your stripes, you kind of had to like really stick to your own shit. And I think that was the biggest. If the Chicago blog scene didn't do anything else but help unite, that's a great legacy in itself.
There you go. I also want to just throw a shout out to you. Great work on the Rock the Bell site with the DJ Muggs profile. Great read. So if anyone hasn't had a chance to check it out yet,
thanks, man.
Go and do that.
That was fun.
I imagine so. Alex, thank you so much for giving us your time. I know that you're away, so I know you don't want to take too much time.
Real quick before you go, do you have any tips for the first year of fatherhood?
Oh.
Man, pro tips. Well, I don't know how good I'm doing, so I can't say I'm a pro, but man.
Are you good on diapers now? Like you're good with like changing those out real quick? Like you don't have to like fumble with the straps and all that stuff? The Velcro?
No, we don't need to do the straps anymore, but that was only on a blowout, so he's good. Now, I don't mind changing a diaper. That's actually one of the things I thought would be terrible, but it's not that, unless it's a blowout, like it's really not that bad. It's not that hard.
Right.
But a pro tip, I think just be patient, like not just with the baby, but with your spouse. Like be patient with each other. No one really knows what they're doing. Try your best. And like, I think I don't know. That's a good question. A pro tip. I'm not a pro, so I don't know. Gabe,
I think patience is a pro tip in every industry. So I will accept that answer. Patient with your spouse and patient with the child.
Yeah, be patient, be cool with it, and I think kids are a lot less fragile than maybe you think they are. Not that I don't have any stories like that, but I just know like he's a resilient kid. Gabe, one last thing, man. If you're looking for music memoirs to read, I've recently finished this book called, I think it might just be called Rough House, but it's by
Chris Schwartz.
By Chris Schwartz. Did you read that one?
Yep, we talked to him early last year after it dropped. Yep.
Okay, well then you're ahead of me, man. And I read. Actually, we were talking about the Action Bronson book. Did you finish that?
I'm still stuck on it. I gotta finish it. I ridiculously start books and then I pick up another book and then I come back to books. I'm a mess. If I was to pan to my nightstand right now, you'd be like sickened with the number of books I have waiting for me.
Did you finish that Beastie Boys book I see in the background?
I did not. That is just sitting there right now, waiting for me.
This is the backdrop.
Those
books aren't even real. That's what's crazy.
It's not the book you just printed. Like you just printed the cover off and pasted to something else.
It's actually a dictionary if you take the cover off.
Yeah,
Webster's A to Z.
It's the real thing. I spent real American dollars on that. I'm going to take with me a few books on my trip for the next week when we're in Puerto Rico. I got to finish the Tammy Duckworth book. I'm halfway through that. The Alex
I've never heard anyone say that before. That's awesome.
it's like surprisingly really good.
I bet she's an amazing person, man.
We're trying to get.
I didn't know she had a book. But yeah,
we're gonna get her on the show. I know we will, Sam.
Yeah, I believe.
And then the other book, the Marathon Don't Stop. Rob Kenner did a book on Nipsey Hussle that came out. That's sitting in my queue as well. So I got about 3 books that I'm trying to get to.
Go.
So I'll let you know how it goes. But I'm expecting PDF copies of your book. So let's get to that.
I'm gonna send you an excerpt. You can tell me if I should keep going or not.
Listen, without even reading it, keep going. Don't stop.
Okay.
Alex, I appreciate you joining us here on Weekend at Gabe's on this Tuesday night. Have a great Father's Day weekend. You deserve it. You earned it. And keep doing what you're doing and keep us posted whenever you have something new coming out.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. I had a great time. Talk to you soon. Thanks for all the support of CS. Peace.
Absolutely. Alex, DJ RTC joining us here on Weekend at Gabe's from Closed Sessions. Go support them if you have not already. I can't wait for the new stuff to come out. That sounds really exciting.
What a show, man. We learned so much about fatherhood and also just, starting projects and the roads that people take. I've learned a lot tonight. And we didn't even, I got all types of questions that we didn't get to. So always a sign of a good show if we didn't get to.
We had, if you missed any of the news section, let me tell you, please go revisit that tomorrow because that shit was phenomenal. The news is getting so much better. I swear.
Every day it just improves. Yeah, for sure.
Ever since we've been able to introduce video into it, it's been phenomenal. We've been so good at this. And it's just getting better. Thursday night, we have Def C, a Chicago MC. He has a new project out. He's going to be joining us. And then also, who else is on
Bodie Z of It's a New Sheriff in Town fame from last summer has a new record out called Reconnect, super groovy new video. So we're going to talk to him about that and also his work at a local studio. So it's going to be a fun show.
Fantastic. All right, we'll see you right here on Thursday night at 8 o'clock before we go on vacation. So don't miss us. Weekend at Gabe's, Weekend Gabe, and the real Sam Crane. We out.
Peace.
Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe. Thanks for checking out this latest episode of Weekend at Gabe's. Click on any of the links swirling around my head and also hit the subscribe button while you're here. Thanks for checking out us here on YouTube.